2 years ago, Alicia sat at her kitchen table with $812 in savings and $4,100 in monthly credit card charges, despite earning a $63,000 salary. It is a common state, earning a comfortable median income but having essentially nothing to show for it. In the US, wealth is often performed, visible, and posted. But in Japan, the concept of tsutsumashi, being modestly reserved, carries deep social respect. This culture values financial restraint. The quieter you live, the more you are admired. American financial culture is obsessed with reducing friction. Tap to pay, one-click purchase, and auto-pay are engineered to put the conscious brain to sleep at the register. When transactions are this effortless, you rarely process the choices you're making. This creates a trap driven by Parkinson's law of money. The law dictates that spending expands to fill the income available. If your container of income grows, your expenses immediately expand to fill that new space, like gas filling a room. Japanese households have bypassed this trap for over a century by using a cultural operating system. These generational habits govern the relationship between a person and their resources through simple, consistent principles. A bigger paycheck cannot fix a broken sequence. If the underlying frictionless system remains unchanged, earning more money only results in spending more money, leaving the financial anxiety completely intact. The first step in this architecture is ikigai. While often used as a career framework, applied to finance, it means defining a strict, specific life purpose for your money before a single dollar is spent. When you know exactly what life you are building, unnecessary purchases become obvious obstacles. Once the purpose is set, the money must be processed through a habit called choking. The typical American sequence is to burn, spend, and hope something is left to save. Chokin reverses this. You save first, and your spending naturally contracts to fit whatever remains. Applied to modern banking, practicing Chokin means automating your investments and savings to leave your checking account the morning after your paycheck clears. You never see the money, ensuring the option to spend it never exists. This chart shows how a monthly paycheck is filtered by Hara Hachibu, originally a teaching to stop eating when you feel 80% full. Applied to finance, it means setting a strict boundary on your lifestyle capacity. You slice off 20% of your income, send it to a vault, and live entirely on the remaining 80%. As the graph adjusts, we see the difference between the current US average savings rate of 4% and the 20% Hara Hachibu target. Over a 30-year investing horizon on a median salary, that 16-point gap is the difference between scraping together a few $100,000 and retiring with over $1.4 million. Living within an 80% boundary doesn't create deprivation, it manufactures margin, and margin is the exact space where financial resilience lives. It provides the breathing room where a sudden emergency remains a minor inconvenience rather than a catastrophe. To manage the 80% that you do spend, you introduce friction using kakebo. Invented over 120 years ago, it is a handwritten household ledger that requires a simple daily habit, manually writing down every single expense. The physical act of handwriting introduces cognitive friction. When you sit down at night with a pen and write out a $42 food delivery charge, you force your prefrontal cortex to wake up and process the choice you made. You then sort each purchase into one of 4 strict categories: needs, wants, culture, or unexpected. Budgeting algorithms cannot make this judgment call for you. You have to decide if that online course was genuine culture or just a want dressed up in self-improvement clothing. To relieve the pressure on those spending categories, you can embrace Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. This represents a broader proxy for free living, the deliberate choice to detach your leisure and social lives from financial transactions, uncoupling joy from commerce entirely. Reintroducing analog friction into your ledger and removing commerce from your weekends naturally filters out impulse purchases. You begin to weigh their value before you even reach for your wallet. This intentionality extends to what you already own through motainai. It is a deep emotional response, a feeling of regret that arises when a useful resource, whether it's food, fabric, or money, is wasted or undervalued. The American consumer economy structurally relies on the exact opposite. It depends on aesthetic dissatisfaction and the rapid replacement of functional goods, engineering devices to become obsolete, and encouraging you to buy new furniture every time you move. The ultimate financial defense mechanism against this cycle is wabi wabi-sabi. It is the philosophy of finding profound beauty and value in imperfect or repaired items. The crack in a bowl, sealed with gold lacquer, doesn't diminish its value. It adds to it. Americans spend thousands of dollars a year replacing apparel, furnishings, and electronics based on aesthetic dissatisfaction. Ending the endless upgrade cycle and choosing to repair rather than replace redirects that money right back into your wealth-building architecture. A system only survives if it's maintained. This requires dual review mechanisms. Annually, there is Usoji, a financial deep clean where you audit every subscription and policy. Monthly, there is Hansei, a 10-minute session of honest, guilt-free self-reflection on your spending. The insights from your monthly reflection dictate your Kaizen, the practice of continuous 1% improvements. You don't overhaul your entire life at once. You simply reduce dining out by 10% this month, or bump up a retirement contribution by 1% the next. These microscopic adjustments are so small, they fly entirely under the radar of your brain's amygdala. They bypass the fear center that typically triggers budgeting burnout, requiring almost no willpower to execute. This unthreatening feedback loop ensures the financial system survives past the first month. It quietly compounds small behavioral wins over decades. Applying these principles turns abstract ideas into hard numbers. By shifting her underlying philosophy, Alicia transitioned from that initial $812 in savings to over $19,000 in a single year without a side hustle or a raise. A $3 notebook or a repaired table cannot build wealth on their own. They work because they stack behaviorally, operating on the exact same mathematical principle as compound interest. Small, consistent inputs repeat over time to produce disproportionate results. Quiet wealth is built on something deeper than tactical spreadsheets. It relies on a profound respect for your money as a resource, trading the exhausting performance of wealth for the quiet discipline of protecting it.